Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Thursday, June 7th, 2018. Now before we get started, I do just want to let you all know I am doing personal readings. If you would like to book a reading with me, to just talk to me about your life, what you may be experiencing, and how you can kind of handle those situations better, or what could possibly come up in the future. I think I'm best for real practical insights if you just want to know where to go next from where you are right now. So if that's something you're interested in, talking to me about, getting some more of my time, then please book a reading with me today at the link down below in my description box. Now, for today, what we have is the moon here in Pisces, at the beginning of the day at least. And when the moon is in Pisces, it brings our attention to internal stuff, emotional stuff, spiritual, being in our own kind of dream world, our imagination. That can also come in with Pisces too. And I think it's just a chance when the moon's in Pisces for us to check in with ourselves, to see how we're feeling inside, to process everything that's happened to us lately and try to learn from some of our experiences. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Now, late yesterday into today, we had this moon in Pisces in a sextile with Pluto. So I do like sextiles, even though the earlier part of the day yesterday was a little strange. But I do like this aspect that happened late last night. What this could bring is, because we're taking some time maybe to check in with ourselves, with who it is that we are, with everything that's happened, to get right with ourselves, maybe taking some time out with this moon in Pisces to figure things out. I think towards the end of yesterday, we started to get a little bit more of an idea perhaps of how we needed to change our life in order to bring more of that peace into our lives, in order to overcome the past so that we can start to move forward. Okay, I think we really were trying to think and figure out about how we could step more into our power with Pluto to have a life that we like better, and to move forward on it now that we've processed some things inside. Okay, so that was going on there. Then at 12 a.m. Mountain Time today, the moon moves a little bit further through Pisces and comes into a trine here with Venus and Cancer. So what I see that bringing very early this morning, these are two things that I do like. Again, even though yesterday afternoon was weird, but I do like this alignment as well, helping you to get more comfortable with your life, to start to settle into some of the things that have been going on in your life lately. Okay, the way I see this alignment is that we're really trying to get right with ourselves, to get in touch with what's going on, and that in turn helping us to get more clarity on where we want our life to go, perhaps on what needs to happen next for us to put our life in a better place, and in turn for us to build more of the roots to support some of the things that it is that we want for our life, and some of the big things that it is that we're doing, or more accurately have been doing, that we're now trying to settle into. Okay, so I do like this a lot. There could be some things that do come up with relationships very early this morning with the trine to Venus. Maybe trying to get comfortable with your relationships, work with other people, maybe you with Venus and Cancer wanting to nurture yourself, to get more at peace with yourself, and I do think there is an opportunity for that early on. Okay, so that's happening there. Then a few hours later at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, the moon moves into Aries. Okay, when the moon's in Aries, it's a lot different than when the moon's in Pisces. It's action oriented, it wants to do things, make things happen. It's a little bit more lively, even though we are in a third quarter moon. So even though there could be things we're out and about, things we're doing, we may be a little bit more sluggish about them than we would be otherwise with the moon in Aries, because we're still got a lot of things in our mind that we're trying to process. Another thing that may temper some of our passion at nighttime as well, after this moon moves into Aries, is going to happen at 7 p.m., about 3 hours later. The moon, after it moves into Aries, is then going to come into a conjunction with Chiron. And you all know how I feel about conjunctions to Chiron, squares to Chiron. There can be some hurt feelings that can come in at 7 p.m. Mountain Time here. Maybe we want to do things. Maybe we want to get more excited about our life. Take some of these like insights that came to us the past few days when the moon was in Pisces and move forward on them. But perhaps that is difficult tonight because we don't know how to move forward in the right way, or we're trying to do things and we feel thwarted as we're doing the things that we want. Or maybe we're just not feeling confident in the way that we're going about doing the things that we need. That could also happen here at 7 p.m. At night. So my advice for this would be to get most of your stuff done early on in the day if you can, and to maybe save the activities for the nighttime that you can either be alone or that you can be surrounded with things that you like and enjoy, as to minimize the effects of Chiron, if you can do that. Or if you do have any uncomfortable things that come up at the nighttime, to just be prepared if that does happen, and to not let those kind of feelings get the best of you. Okay, so that's what I see going on there. For today. Then the next aspect won't occur until 5 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow morning, and there's a lot going on there. At that time, the moon will move further through Aries. It'll come to what, 7 degrees. There's going to be a lot of things at 7 degrees, and the moon will then square Saturn, it'll sextile Mars, and it'll trine the North Node at the same time. So that could definitely bring, after we're not feeling too good tonight, feeling a little hurt, it's hard for us to do things even though we may want to be out and about, more so than we were the past 2 days when the moon was in Pisces. With this could bring at 5 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, perhaps again, feeling a little bit restricted. We want to do things. So the cardinal signs are a little bit of a hard spot now with Saturn and Pluto both in Capricorn, but maybe we want to do things tomorrow morning. Again, we're feeling restricted. It's hard for us to do the things that we want because we don't know where our life is going, but I think us maybe feeling this restriction, feeling uncomfortable, feeling like we're thwarted, like it's hard for us to do the things that we want, really helping us to refine what makes us happy, what we need to do to be happy, and where we see our life going with the sextile to Mars. You know, and maybe that's what's starting to come in towards the very, very end of today and into tomorrow. We're realizing that we can't do everything that we want for whatever reason. Maybe we don't have the resources now with Uranus and Taurus. Maybe we're uncomfortable, the drive, there's some conflict there. And I think maybe really needing to refine, okay, what really is important to me? What are my priorities? What can get me the furthest, the fastest, the most efficient? Maybe having to think more about those things that I think start to come in, and some of these feelings of restriction, of it being hard for us to do things, of having a lot of responsibilities, is really helping us get down to like the essentials and like the bare bones of like, okay, maybe you can't do everything you want, but like, what do you need? What's like a must-have right now? And how can you move forward on that must-have? And then maybe more of the luxuries can come in later. Maybe you can do more of the things you really want to do that really inspire and excite you at another time, but right now, maybe needing to cool it on some of those things and really just focus on the things that are going to have the most impact, that are going to yield the best results, that are going to be the most important to you, even if it means you have to let go of some of your other desires to accomplish some of those things. Okay. So I think that's what's going on. We could be thinking very seriously, right, about our future, about everything, about how we can bring everything in our life together. And I think just needing to let some of that feeling of restriction help us to make better plans and to do things in better ways that really can serve our cause moving forward, okay? Yeah, I think that's what I said when I say. Towards the end of today and tomorrow. It's not just about doing anything, it's about doing the things that really can help you the most, especially with Mars too on the South Node. We could want to do a lot, you know, do a bunch of things. You know, Aquarius is the sign of freedom. So Mars in Aquarius says, I want to do whatever I want to do, you know, and maybe what we're having to learn here with the moon in Aries, the square to Saturn, is sometimes you can't do anything that you want to do. You have to do the things that will yield the best results for you right now in the moment, and maybe choosing those things will set you free eventually. Even if it maybe doesn't feel like it, especially not tonight with the Chiron thing. Okay, yeah, I'll just leave that, leave you with that there. Okay. Yeah, just trying to process things early today, so that we can internally, so that we can get right with ourselves and then figure out how to do things in a better or different way tonight and tomorrow that can serve some of our best interests. Now things going on in the background. The sun is in a conjunction with Mercury still, so there could be lots of conversations, lots of thinking going on. Also a lot of integrating the past, trying to make sense of the past. Now that Mercury is moving past the sun, I like to think that we've done a good bit of integration, and hopefully are starting to get more clarity now on what's going on what has happened, even though we do have the square to Neptune, maybe making that a little bit difficult, okay? Yeah, so maybe I'll just interpret that integrating the past being really important and making sense of things in your life and trying to figure out who you are and who you need to be now that so much has occurred. The Sun and Mercury in a square to Neptune, again, could maybe make that a little bit confusing. I think there's a real opportunity to get some insights, of course, with Mercury at home in Gemini with the Sun there. And I think there is some clarity that's coming, but there's just some emotional stuff weighing on us that I talked a lot about yesterday that's kind of heavy, some spiritual stuff, some things from the past that maybe is making it hard for us to find the clarity that it is that we want, or to do the things that it is that we know that we want and need, because there's some of the emotional stuff. Maybe just needing to learn how to tie up some things from the past, take care of some emotional stuff, and listen to some of your intuition so that you can move forward, doing what you know you need to do in your mind, doing what you know you need to do intellectually. Perhaps with the Sun Mercury thing, we're getting clarity in the mind, getting clarity logically, intellectually about what we need to do. But with the square to Neptune, perhaps our emotions are getting in the way. Perhaps all the things that have happened to us lately are making it hard for us to do the things that in our mind we know we need to do, and really just needing to make sure that you address what you're feeling, what's going on inside you, so that it doesn't get the best of you, and that you put your emotions in the proper perspective. So that you can move forward with more clarity. All right, especially now that Mercury is kind of moving on away out of this conjunction, out of the square to Neptune. I think really just needing here to not let your emotions get the best of you, and to learn more how to get a handle on them logically, even if there are still some things internally that are hard, so that you can do the things that you need that will be best for you. Okay. There's also, I did mention Mars in the South Node, so that could be frustrations, things from the past coming back. Maybe it's hard for us to do things, new things, but needing to take care of some things from the past being very important, okay? With Mars in Aquarius again, a very future thinking sign. So I think we're trying to get a better future for ourselves, envision a new life that we like better, doing things that are more exciting. But I think before we can step into that future, which Mars will bring when it goes direct, we really do need to tie up some of the things from the past, to get rid of all of that stuff, to clear out like all of the junk. Maybe, yeah, that's one of the many reasons why I'm cleaning my apartment, but maybe just needing to clear out all of the junk to make way for this new, better future to come in. That could be going on here with Mars on the South Node. We could be feeling a little bit frustrated about things, wanting to do a lot, but it being hard again to channel some of our actions that we may need to work on, how to control more of our actions and more of our desires, so that we can do the things that we need to do at this time. Yeah, it's like I didn't expect that to be a theme today, but it's like mastering your desires. Seems to be like a thing I feel like I've mentioned a few times, for sure. And hopefully yesterday, because I'm like, I really don't know why I spent that long in that video yesterday and really went into this whole thing about emotions. I was just feeling it. But I think hopefully now that some emotional stuff came out yesterday, and maybe some spiritual stuff, then maybe now it's meant to take that emotional stuff that you experienced and that you felt yesterday and to put it in the right perspective, to get more of a handle on it. And maybe what needed to happen was to let things come up yesterday so that today, now, you can process them, you can understand them, you can feel much better about them. And do things in a better way that can serve some of your interests better, now that some of your emotional stuff is out in the open, or has been allowed to ruminate. Okay, so there's that. Then we have Venus and Cancer in an opposition with Pluto. So again, could bring some big changes here in your relationships, in your values. I don't think, again, that these are new things. I don't think all of a sudden it's like, I realized today I wanted to change something about my life. I think it's more so stuff from the past hitting us. Well, I've been meaning to say this to you for a while and I just haven't, you know, or there's been something that's been on my mind that now I realized, like, I can't let this go any further the way it is before dealing dealing with some of this other stuff. So I think that could be what's going on. A lot of times too, of course, I always mention with oppositions, there are some choices that's possible that you may have to make. Choices, of course, about relationships, choices about your value systems, what you value, what's important to you, and choices about money. Okay, there's been a lot of changes that you've been making lately, we've been making lately, to put our life in a place that we like better. And I think we're having to decide now, how do we organize our relationships, our money, our finances, our values to accommodate this change, this massive change that has occurred in our life in a very public way. Okay, and really needing to figure out how to make the choices and the changes that you need so that you can feel better and more comfortable and cancer with where things are going right now in your life. Okay, and then the last thing that I'll mention is Jupiter in a trine with Neptune. Again, lots of inner stuff that I think we're just trying to work out and to make sense of. And I think it's there. Like, it may not feel like it. We may feel frustrated, but I do think that beneath some of the other stuff going on, there is a lot of stuff happening inside that I think is going to be really useful, really positive, really necessary for us to move forward once again. It's just a matter of sitting with some of these feelings, like letting some of these things work themselves out inside us. Yeah, I really do think that's it. You know, because I think a bit about like the astrology. I always think about the astrology, like it's probably what I think about more than anything else. And I was thinking a lot lately about the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, of course, because I'm doing readings a lot more now. And, and I talk to people a lot where they are right now, and I always look at the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that's going to happen in December of 2020. And I really genuinely do feel like in all of our lives, in more ways than one, like our lives are going to change and they're going to be completely different, especially with this like very rare, like Saturn-Pluto conjunction only happens once every 35 years. And I just feel like from a lot of my conversations with you all that it's just now like downloading to you spiritually that like things are going to change, that like your life can no longer continue in the way it has in the past, and I think that that's the sense that I get from the astrology. I think that's what I try to talk to a lot of you about in my readings, is that I definitely see, of course, in all of our lives, some big change that's coming in, although I try to personalize it for what you may be experiencing in your own chart. But I do see that, and I think we want to feel like, oh, well, it's going to be one change, oh, okay, there's a change in my life. All right, I'll make that in like December of 2020, and there'll be some big change and all of a sudden do something different. And part of me is like, no, you don't realize, like, in between now and then, it's going to be a series of like unexpected changes and just readjustments one after the other before December 2020. And then when December 2020 comes, everything's going to be kind of flushed out and you're going to get to start all over again, more or less, living this thing that you've been working towards. And I really do feel like right now we're trying to prepare ourselves emotionally and spiritually and understanding and trying to get the spiritual, emotional, like downloads that realize, wait a second, there's like a massive change that's going to take place in my life in the next year or two. What am I saying? It's December 2019. Did I say 2020? It's December 2019, January 2020, that this will occur. And I think we're just starting to get the hint, like, hey, things are going to be quite different. And we're starting to realize that. And I think that's going to be important here. And I think we're preparing ourselves internally for some massive changes that are going to come up, especially in the next year and a half, totally turning our life upside down. And I think this time is going to be really, really valuable so that we can understand our life is not going to be what it was. It's never going to be what life used to be, what you wanted it to be. It's going to be something totally different, and it may make a lot of different changes. Our journey may take a lot of twists and turns, but you know what? That's okay. Especially if you don't resist the change, especially if you go with it. And I think this time is really helpful for us right now to get on board with these things that are coming in our life and to get comfortable with it, okay? So that when October, November comes of this year, we can then start to live more of those changes that we need to make, and without feeling so conflicted about them, perhaps. Now your card is the Two of Cups upright. This card is always about relationships, partnerships with other people. So maybe if there's something going on today, maybe you can seek the advice of relationships. I don't know if I see that in the astrology. I mean, Pluto opposite Venus can actually bring some like intense things up with relationships that may not be the prettiest. But there could definitely be some things that you're working out with people today. Maybe also needing to figure out how to restore the balance emotionally in your life again. I'm getting that message again, especially because yesterday emotions kind of could have been all over the place with the square to Neptune, but needing to figure out, of course, twos, balance, cups, emotions, how to restore the balance in your life emotionally. And maybe also this is the Pluto-Venus renegotiating things in relationships. If you feel like there's something in a relationship that's not fair, that's not right, maybe as well trying to do what you can to restore the balance there, so that your relationships can help you accomplish some of the things that you want instead of work against you. Okay, and maybe that being the key, working some things out with people or having people help you to do some of the things you want and need, maybe that being the key to help you move forward. All right, so that's what I've got there. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.